Okay, gonna call the special meeting of the Excise Board of Oklahoma County to order. It is 9:02 a.m., Monday, June 15th. We have a full house. Mr. Brett Town.
Present.
Mr. Risa Sellers.
Present.
Okay, I'm Eleanor Thompson. Notice of this meeting was properly posted on June 10th, 2026. We have several items on our agenda today. The first one being approval of our minutes of May 22nd, 2026.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 2, discussion and possible action regarding the Oklahoma County General Fund annual adopted budget for the fiscal year upcoming 2026-27 in an amount not to exceed $163,252,323. This item is requested by Marissa Treat, County Clerk, Secretary to the Board.
Do I? No, you can come. You can sit in here. We're having an excise board meeting before the equalization. I was pleased that they were able to work this out, and that they didn't felt like they even had a little bit of surplus, and that seemed to be what everybody was trying to work out at the end what to do with that, and I'm glad they didn't overreach the budget this year. It seems to be pretty conservative.
About $6.5 million more than what we approved in October.
Yes, and I think a lot of that's the surplus they
14 million.
that
Yes.
they found.
Oh, it's-
So it looks like they'll have, if collections come in like they anticipate, it looks like they will have a steady, just nearly flat budget here. And I commend everybody for looking at their budgets, cutting any fat that they felt like they could, and emphasizing the areas that serve the taxpayers the most. So I did not have any issues with it, and I'd like to move to approve item number 2 if there's no other questions or comments.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item 3, discussion and possible action regarding filing the Community Strategies, Inc. We're doing business as one of the Epic Charter Schools, district number 55-Z014. Their proposed budget for the fiscal year upcoming 2026-27 as follows. Their general fund in the amount of $257,600,000. This is requested by the County Finance Department, Office of the County Clerk.
Teresa,
This is actually quite a bit less. We approved almost 300,000 for them last year. So this is quite a bit less.
almost 300 million.
I'm sorry, 300 million, yeah.
Well, remember they, at the end of the last fiscal year, they were in a cash flow crisis.
Yes.
They had to borrow between $50 and $75 million, and they were able to repay that once they started in the new fiscal year and all. So I think I was looking at their budget, and it looks like they have trimmed expenses significantly based upon their anticipated revenue and based on student counts. So it looks like they've done their due diligence in correcting their issues.
Actually, let me take that back, because I'm looking at the years. That 299 was from 24-25. We just came back later in June 30th to approve that. 25-26 was 223.9. So 224 million.
So it's up.
So it's actually up a little bit over what it was last year, but it's significantly lower than what it was in 24-25.
Right. They were correcting the prior year this time last year.
Yeah.
Not the current year that we're in now, the 26 year.
Yeah.
But when you don't read about them in the paper, that's probably a good thing.
Right.
So I'd like to move approval of item number 3 as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I won't read all the rest of them. All the rest of the items on our agenda are requested by the County Finance Department of the Office of the County Clerk, so I won't say that. Okay, item 4, discussion and possible action regarding resolution 2026 2352, the request for approval of state and/or federal funds for Harding Fine Arts Academy, district number G-011, for this fiscal year, 2025-26, of their general fund in the amount of $256,928.65.
This is just giving them the authority to spend this money in the last month, so I move approval.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 5, discussion and possible action regarding resolution 2026-2538. It's a temporary appropriations for Harding Fine Arts Academy, district number E-010, for the fiscal year upcoming 2026-27 as follows. For their general fund, $4,518,024. Their building fund, $235,983.
So the general fund is the same amount that we approved last October. The building fund is down about $100,000.
Move approval of item number 5 as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 6, discussion and possible action regarding resolution 2026-2384, the temporary appropriations for Edmonds School District number 12 for the fiscal year 2026-27 upcoming as follows. General fund, $283,845,839. Their building fund of $33,921,290. And their child nutrition fund, $13,899,492.
So this is everything that we approved last October, except there was a sinking fund of $71 million in October that's not here.
They'll approve that. The sinking fund will be on the final budget once we get the evaluations in October and August and September. I will say that I know they're using last year's budget, as most schools do. However, they're anticipating a drop of students between 500 and 700, which will adversely affect their general fund, their state aid. So I think this number will, I'll not be surprised if this number goes down significantly. And I'm glad they got it in on time this year. Move approval of item number 6 as stated.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Item 7, discussion and possible action regarding resolution 2026-2385. It's the temporary appropriations for Deer Creek School District number I-6 for the fiscal year upcoming 26-27 as follows. General fund of $70,176,013. Building fund in the amount of $7,092,109. And the child nutrition fund in the amount of $4,894,842.
So this is, we originally approved $63 million in June, and then they asked for an increase in October to $78 million.
And now we're down to 70.
And now we're down to 70. Similar projection for the building fund and also for the child. They asked for less in June, it went up in October, and now it's going down.
This mid-year transfers?
No, what's happening is people are looking at their enrollment projections, and there's a trend, a national trend, along with the private school subsidies in the state are causing drops of enrollment, but primarily it's focused in the lower elementaries, and it's due to lower birth rates. So schools are making adjustments. I think you'll see most schools this year have lower budgets than they had last year, but I think they're doing a little bit of that tweaking right now in Deer Creek. So move approval of item number 7 as stated.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 8, discussion and possible action regarding resolution 2026-2413. It's the temporary appropriations for the Eastern Oklahoma County VOTEC District 23 for the fiscal year upcoming 26-27. As follows: their general fund, $13,500,000. Their building fund, a flat $5 million. The bond fund, $745,000.
So again, in June, they asked for this amount, it was $500,000 less on the building fund, but everything else was the same. They increased it in October to 15,000,003 and almost 7 million on the building fund. And so now they're reducing it back to what it was in June of last year.
Move approval of item number 8 as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 9, discussion and possible action regarding resolution 2026-2554. This is the temporary appropriations for Harding Luther Public Schools.
Yeah, that's an error,
Okay,
scribe's error probably.
it should just be Luther Public Schools.
Yes.
District number I-3 for the fiscal year upcoming at 26-27 as follows. Their general fund, $5,500,000. Their building fund, $500,000, and their child nutrition fund, $400,000. So the motion will be as amended, striking the word Harding.
So this is similar to the last one. Last May, we approved these exact amounts. There was an increase in October to 7.5 million and almost 900,000 on the building fund. And so now it's back to what they had originally approved this time last year.
Move approval of item number 9 as amended.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Item 10, discussion and possible action regarding resolution 2026-2555. This is the temporary appropriations for the Preparatory Academy of Oklahoma. This was, not familiar with this one. District number Z-016 for the fiscal year 26-27 as follows. General fund, $1,956,691. Is this a rename?
It was the virtual preparatory academy last year, yeah.
And on their appropriation statement, that's how it's listed too. Virtual Prep Academy.
Okay, is this another error? Are we gonna approve virtual preparatory academy?
Probably should.
Okay, we're gonna.
That's what it is on the paperwork, right,
Okay.
on the link.
Then the motion will state virtual preparatory academy of Oklahoma.
Move approval of item number 10 as amended.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 11, discussion and possible action regarding resolution 2026-2556. Temporary appropriations for the Metropolitan Library Commission of Oklahoma County for the upcoming fiscal year 26-27 in the amount of $115,026,390. This estimate of needs is to be financed by the 5.2 Mill County Library Tax Levy. Anticipated surplus funds carried over from this fiscal year 25-26 and projected miscellaneous revenue to be collected during the fiscal year 2026-27.
So this was a little bit more actually than what we previously approved. October, it was 108 million. July of last year was 102 million, so it's slowly been going up.
I think that's why they included the statement on surplus funds carrying over, which would increase their budget amount from year to year. Move approval of item number 11.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 12, discussion and possible action regarding resolution 2026-2590, the temporary appropriations for Western Gateway District number E-026 for the upcoming fiscal year 26-27 as follows. Their general fund in the amount of $3,659,068. Their building fund in the amount of $480,423.
This was exactly what it was last year. Yeah.
Okay,
Move approval of item number 12 as stated.
I'll second.
all in favor? Aye. You can come on, whoever. Item 13, discussion and possible action regarding resolution 2026-2584 to receive for filing the Middale School District number 52 tentative budgets for fiscal year 2026-27 as follows. Good deal, okay. General fund in the amount of $123,412,598. Building fund in the amount of $8,885,618. Child nutrition fund in the amount of $7,917,009. Special fund for the Tech Center Building Fund number 23 in the amount of $3 million. Debt Service Fund in the amount of $18 million. And Co-op Technology Fund in an amount of $9,749,651. That's a lot.
Middale has their own career tech center.
Yes.
Which part of that, the co-op tech fund and the special building fund is kind of inflates their budget beyond other schools. So
I'm kind of surprised that's not a separate budget.
And well, yeah, and last year we did that set. I don't remember.
We did.
We did.
Well, we didn't. Let me see. I just saw
We
that.
never had all of that together.
We had that, in June of 2025, we approved almost the same amounts.
Okay.
We're actually a little less on the co-op tech fund. The debt is the same. The debt service, the special building tech center is the same.
What about the child nutrition?
The child nutrition is up from 7.7 million. Yeah, building fund is down from 9.7. General fund is up from 121.
They closed a couple of schools. I figured the building fund would be down.
move approval of item number 13 as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, last item on the agenda, item 14. Discussion and possible action regarding resolution 2026-2394. We're going to receive for filing the Putnam City School District number 1. Proposed budgets for the upcoming fiscal year 26-27 as follows. General fund, $195,713,156. Building fund, $10,175,000. Child nutrition fund, $18,250,000.
So this one's kind of a little bit all over the place.
Yeah.
June, we approved 193 million. October, they came in for another 50 million. Again, a week later in October, it was 208 million. So I'm assuming that the one the week before was a mistake. Yeah, and so the last thing that we approved for them was 208 million. So they're coming down from that to 195. Building fund, we originally approved at 9.5 million. Then they came in October. I think again that was a mistake, so I'll skip it. Later in October, 17 million, and so now they're dropping it down to 10. And child nutrition, we originally approved at 16 million. They bumped it up to 26 million in October, and now it's down to 18 million.
Or is Mustang affecting them? Do people go south to Mustang? Don't think.
I think
Or Western.
I think Bethany affects Putnam City more than any other school district does, because Bethany
Sits right there.
has about 90% transfers, and it's from Yukon, Mustang, Western Heights, Yukon. So Putnam City is sort of like everybody else. They're sitting here with looking at declining elementary enrollments, and they're adjusting their budgets. So I think it looks appropriate. So I'd like to move approval of item number 14.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I didn't hear anything about the resale, tax resale was last Tuesday. How that went.
Okay. Board members were asking about other school districts. Remember in May, we did approve Aztec, we approved Bethany, East School, Oakdale,
They would do
Lamond, we did Academy of Oklahoma, Connections Academy, WK Jackson, so Santa Fe South. So
We haven't done Millwood.
we haven't done Millwood.
Did you say we did Bethany already?
We
Yes.
did do Bethany,
Okay, so Choctaw,
not Choctaw.
and then all the city of Bethany and city
Yeah,
of
we have not
Choctaw
done.
and city of Del City,
We're
City
lacking
Arrow,
cities,
all
we're lacking
those.
some career techs.
Yeah.
So
Four
there's still
acres.
quite a bit.
Oklahoma City.
Yeah, Oklahoma City's the big
Okay.
one. I
Okay,
saw the
we don't
charge.
have another one scheduled, do we? Okay. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Some ice. Everybody gonna be here? Do we have any on phone?
No.
No, okay. Okay, I'm gonna call this special meeting of the Board of Equalization of Oklahoma County to order. Today is Monday, June 15th, 2026. It is 9:31 a.m. We have a full house. Mr. Brett Town,
Present.
Mr. Teresa Sellers.
Present.
I'm Eleanor Thompson. Notice of this meeting properly was posted on June the 8th, 2026. We have today 5 items on our agenda. Has anybody here not been in front of us? Are we all new people? I know you don't. Yes. Okay. Well, let me tell you how this goes. This is an appellate proceeding, meaning you're appealing your failure to get the assessor to get with you. So we are not going to start all over from ground one. You can give us your information if you've already discussed it with the assessor. If there's some new information you want us to consider, they have to say okay. Otherwise, they're at a disadvantage to try to respond to some new information. A lot of times they'll agree. We will meet on Thursday?
Yeah.
And make our decision on Thursday. We do not concern ourselves with your taxes. I know that's utmost in your mind. We are going to determine the fair market value of your property, which is what a willing buyer and a willing seller will agree is a fair price. We're going to let you go first, then we will hear from the assessor, and it's your property at issue, so we're going to give you the last word. Okay. The first item on our agenda is BOE number 159, Town and Country. This is commercial real estate, account number R156458050. Okay. So this is the one, is this the one that the physical address is 7501 South? No, that's Tuesday.
This is the parking
I'm
lot.
on the wrong day, sorry.
At Reno and South Central.
Okay. Oh, yeah. East Reno, South Center. So let me read, yeah. I read the correct account number. So the assessor started out and gave you notice that they were gonna value this at $686,053. They dropped it to $528,045. You think that it's worth $100,000 because the land is unsellable because of the owner and this big sign. I know where that is. In fact, I even went last night and looked at it again to make sure I was on the right section. That used to be a Venture or a Kmart or something. Yes. Okay, we'll hear from you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, thank you everyone for allowing us to present our case this morning. So the 3 individuals across from me are the commissioners, is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes.
And the county assessor is represented by
Tom Shannon.
Tom. How are you?
Doing well.
Okay. I tried to get everything to Michelle that I had, and then during the last conversation on email, I said I have a couple of last minute things, and
Sure.
she said just bring them with you. So,
Sure.
Anyway, so a little bit of brief history. These 2 properties were part of a tract of land that my wife Leon's grandmother sold in 1983.
Okay.
To Venture Stores
Yes.
out of Missouri. It was 12.78 acres on this northeast quarter, and in January of 1983, I think they had approached her prior to that, but in January of 83, they worked out a sales and purchase agreement for the 12.78 acres. And then in March, after they had been through most of their due diligence and they were abroad, I don't know what the closing date was, but I believe it was a shortened closing date in March. They approached my wife's grandmother and said, we have been talking it over headquarters, and we don't really need all of that 12.78 acres. So here's what we're willing to do. We're willing to allow you to keep these two parcels, and we'll just be buying 9.7 acres, and so the sales price went down 25%. So anyway, the concept that they presented to her at the last minute was that they were going to lease these two parcels from her for a 3-year period. And at the end of 3 years, if they have not developed them, then my wife's grandmother would be free to sell them or develop them however she would like. Because of the last minute crunch.
But who put the restrictions that it couldn't be this and it couldn't be that, and who?
That was the parent company of Venture, Bay Department Stores out of Missouri.
Yes.
And they're bankrupt and they're gone now. But at the time, they were like a gigantic owner of department stores, from Foley's to Marshall Fields to, I mean, the list kind of goes on. And obviously, I've learned they had quite a staff of attorneys. So they said, here's the lease agreement, 41 pages, and you can either sign that or we'll go elsewhere. So they basically jammed her up, and she was told that that was not a very equitable contract. It was very one-sided, but she needed to sell the property, and so she went forward with it. I think what she didn't realize at the time, because of what all was going on with this approach, is that in paragraph or section 35.10, I believe, it says that all of these restrictions from this lease will run with the land in perpetuity. So I thought that when I discovered that, when Leanne's father passed away 10 years ago, I thought that was pretty unfair. And so I took this to a real estate attorney at Crow Dunlevy, Zach Allen, who's probably one of the best. And he started to look at this, and he just put it down on the table, and he said, I've already seen this movie before. And I said, what do you mean? He said, these people were notorious for doing this to individual landowners all across the country. And so he said, there's not really anything that I can do to help you. So over the course of almost 45 years or whatever, first pass, her grandmother tried to get the May department store to release the restrictions because she had an offer from Conoco to put a convenience store gas station on the corner, and they respectfully declined to do so. She had a couple of other offers along the way, and of course none of those panned out. She passed away in 2000, and my wife's father, Gerald, took over. He tried multiple times to try and work with the current owner of the property, which is Anthony's TV and Appliance, to release the restrictions, so that they could sell at least the corner lot, which is the most valuable of the two. And there was a lot of back and forth, and ultimately Anthony never agreed to do it. And
there were so many what you couldn't do. What can be done to that corner?
Well,
commercially,
its best use as a hard corner is convenience store, gas station, or fast food restaurant, quick serve, QSR.
Now, could the fast food with drive-through only, that is allowed?
No, that's restricted. Any type of restaurant with primarily car drive-through
Okay.
is restricted.
Okay.
I don't know really, in the absence of getting outside of these first four restrictions are the ones that may insert it into this. 5 through whatever are pretty much boilerplate restrictions that were the thing of the day. What it could be, and recently, during the last month, we were approached by a broker out of Austin who had a financial services company, check cashing company, that wanted that corner. And we dealt with him immediately, provided him all the information. The survey, the list of restrictions, told him about that. We told him that there was a sign for Anthony's TV and Appliance on the corner, but they seemed amicable to. It's an LED sign where the messages rotate. They seemed amicable to including them on the board in rotation. So things were proceeding, and then I think they had a representative make a visit to the site, and when they did, they actually saw how big the Anthony sign was. Oh, I wish I had
Declined because of that sign, because of the location.
So anyway, so after all of the work with this nice young man, he wrote an email last week saying, "Afternoon, Alan. After discussing with my financial service group, Reno and Sooner is a pass, unfortunately. They like the location and the attractive below market price, but just couldn't get past the large Anthony's Plaza sign that would block the view of their building from the intersection." I made them an amazingly low asking price and told them that we would.
But so the sign is on your land?
It is.
Did you give, why can't you have it was in a lease?
Says that the owner of track 1 or lot 1 can I pass out some color prints of?
I went by there. I know what it looks like. That's why I was
I've got it
amazed.
pulled up right now.
Oh,
So
on your land.
the sign down there in the corner
Mhm.
is in the pylon area for signs.
And it meets the ordinance. Is that Midwest City or Del City?
It's Midwest City.
And it meets their. It doesn't.
No, it does not. He applied for this and was turned down, and the city of Midwest City listened to an appeal. I mean, this thing is huge.
But it is or is not allowed now by ordinance.
The city allowed it in 2014
I see.
against the objection of my wife's father
It is.
and another property owner nearby, an appraisal service.
Is BOE 159 only the corner?
No, it combines those two parcels.
Those two parcels, okay.
I mean, they each have separate legal description, but they're considered to be under the same.
They're the same number.
They're under the same number.
Let me hear from the assessor how you came up with this 500,000. That's a big difference.
It sure is. Land values are determined by sales of other land in the area.
Okay.
The Oklahoma state statutes that I believe say that when you value a property, you're supposed to value it as its current use
or the use that the year that it was in. So the problem with that is that now I have an issue according to statutes. I really can't look at the highest and best use because of the way the statutes are read, what the value was in the current year that it was valued or what it is currently. So looking at that, what we've done is that was valued on sales of similar properties. However, there's another way you can look at this too. These two parcels, north and south, are part of a larger parcel, which could be considered one economic unit. So what we are looking at at this hearing is the large parcels at $2.18 a square foot. As you can see, the two separate parcels, the northwest and southwest corner, are parking lots for the whole lot. So we are going to apply $2.18 to those two parcels, and then we had a minimal value on the asphalt, which I believe was $10,000 on this particular one and such. So we are looking to change the value of that property from the I show 528,046, which was on the informal. We're looking at changing it down to 525,000. Or excuse me, I'm sorry, 325,000. That's putting the land at $2.16 a square foot, which is the same as the larger parcel, being one economic unit, and a small amount for the asphalt that's on there.
Let me just ask, so when you do the comps to come up with your curve, did your comps have similar restrictions?
No, they did not. However, now we're getting into legal.
Right.
This as far as we're looking at what the land is valued as is.
Okay.
And that's how we're taking this. The land is all going to be valued. We're valuing the land, all three parcels, at the same rate. So the legal issue is that, and what we were talking about, there's been issues going on for many years, which still have not been resolved. We're not taking the legal issue. We're taking the market value of the land as is currently as of January 1st.
Would the taxpayer consider the new offer $325,000?
I'm sorry.
Would you all consider their new offer of $325,000, accepting it, or you can reject it?
If my memory serves me right, that is the valuation of the parcels minus the asphalt surcharge, which
Including it, didn't it?
We include because we have kind of a minor value on the asphalt.
Yep.
The top, just to let you know, back to the aerial, the lower section was resurfaced in I think 2022 or something. And if you look at the top section, it still needs to be resurfaced. So making an adjustment, it's kind of the asphalt's not that big a deal on the value.
So the ball would be in your court to either accept it or reject it, and if you reject it, it would be continue to come to us to make a decision.
well, this is foreign territory for us. We've never done anything like this before, so we're not experts, and we don't have legal counsel with us or anything of that sort. I would like to, if I would be permitted, to offer a couple of additional comments before answering that. This is a email between Anthony's TV and Appliance and myself, specifically the daughter-in-law of Anthony, where on March 27th of this year, I said, "Good morning, Shelley. I hope things are going well for you and your family. We're preparing a protest for the property taxes on our two parcels and need to know when the parking lot was resurfaced and striped. I'm thinking it was around the time that Planet Fitness moved in. We need to provide a date when these improvements were done, and that we, Town and Country Limited, had nothing to do with the project." And she replied, "The last time we had, that is Anthony's, had the parking lot resurfaced was either at the end of 2015 or beginning of 2016. Planet Fitness moved in during that time. We had it restriped again in 2022. To your point, let me know if you need anything else. They never contacted us, they just did it. They just put the asphalt down, they did the striping, they never contacted us.
Are you leasing that to them?
No.
So that's not, that was a trespass?
Well, normally you would think
lease,
so.
But no, I'm asking, so at this moment, those two parcels are not under lease to them?
No. And this nice legal document from 1983 gives them permission to do whatever they want to do. They can put asphalt down, they can stripe it.
If they're under lease?
No. Well, it's because the terms of that 3-year lease from 1983.
Which doesn't exist anymore, it expired and not renewed?
He said that 35.10
35.10 says that
in perpetuity.
all the provisions continue in perpetuity. It runs with the land.
Unleased property?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Madam Chair, that's the reason we're saying this is a legal issue. We're not making that decision, we're making it what the current use is now, according to statute.
I get it.
Does that make a difference to you, what he just stated though, and the fact that it was 2016 when they resurfaced it and they only repainted it in 2022? Does that make a difference on your valuation? Now, because you said the asphalt wasn't much of a difference.
Currently, yes, it did, because what you're gonna have is you're gonna have the part, as you can see on the southwest corner, it's been resurfaced. Basically, it's a slurry. It's kind of just a
Coating.
liquid coating that goes in, it fills in the cracks. That's kind of how to do that. As you can tell, the top part hasn't had it done. The difference is between fair and average. I did a quick adjustment. That's where I came up with the minor value of the asphalt. I did take into consideration the difference of the two.
Okay, so now let me re-ask Mr. Towns' question. Is the 325,000 acceptable or not? Are you just stuck on your 100,000? I mean, it's up to you. I mean, we're not, just no pressure. Just, it was a question that didn't get answered.
It's never provided any income at all. The only thing financially that we're involved with each year is paying property tax, and we can't do anything with it. This is a broker's opinion of value, which I'd sent to Michelle from Plains Commercial. And this goes to the value, and they did this analysis. It's not an appraisal. It's
Right.
just a broker's opinion after doing their research, and they ran all the comps in the area.
And what's the date on that?
The date on this is May 1st.
Of 26?
Yes.
The valuation is as of 12/31/25.
But has that been provided to the assessor's office?
Yeah, they
Or
have.
today?
So
You'll get another valuation this year that would have an impact on should you decide to appeal it. But it cuts off 12/31's valuation as of 12/31/25.
okay. The verbal or written analysis is the same as it would be from 12/31, which
Maybe.
can I briefly recap that for you? Strengths, signalized hard corner at Reno and Sooner, dual frontage exposure to one of Midwest City's most active commercial intersections. Sooner Road corridor seen recent land transactions in the $13 to $22 a square foot range, a mile south of our location. The corner that we have accommodates QSR, quick serve restaurant, drive-through, medical, convenience, retail, or multi-tenant concepts. Currently paved, reduces site preparation and suggests nearby utility availability, which is true. Challenges, the use restrictions, shopping center, they call it shopping center covenants, existing deed restrictions from Anthony's TV and Appliance limit permissible uses, reducing the buyer pool and requiring full disclosure during due diligence. Number two, the existing corner sign on the corner limits the buyer's ability to place signage on the most visible point of the parcel. And this sign is gigantic. The size proportion of them. I'm standing in the middle of the intersection. There's a 18-wheel truck loaded with steel behind it, and you can see the sign just towers over everything. And then when you take another look
We
at
get
it,
what, we get the dilemma that you're in.
so
You don't have to accept the offer. We'll just, we've gotta we'll make the decision on Thursday. It's Friday's legal holiday. I didn't mean to forget to say that we will mail the decisions, and because Friday's a holiday, you probably won't get the decision until Monday. Yes, it is.
well, we're really stuck in a corner.
Right.
We can't sue them because they have this contract
We understand.
and the obvious willingness to employ legal counsel to defend all the points of that, which they have done in the past. And we can't really do anything with it other than go ask Anthony's TV and Appliance if they would give us something for it and just deed it over to them. In 1983, Leanne's grandmother gave up $250,000 in the reduced price due to this.
We really understand. We really understand.
I'm sorry, I'm just.
No,
I'm
you can't even put up a fence.
emotional.
You can put a
We understand, this is a dilemma, it really is, and my heart goes out to you all. This is a problem not of your making,
I'll
but
put the
you're
fence up.
having
I'm
to deal
gonna
with it.
have to take my fence down. Seriously.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll make your life easier and take it through 25.
Okay.
That's what you do.
Well,
I mean, the alternative is we'll decide on Thursday. And then we'll send you a notification, so.
And again, next year, if it's too much for you, come back again.
what would you like to do? You wanna
Well,
let
they're
them
gonna
consider it?
consider it,
Okay.
so, I
We'll just
mean, we don't have
consider it.
anything to lose, do we?
No.
Right,
Okay. We would greatly appreciate your consideration.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're gonna close the hearing on BOE number 159 and open up a hearing on second item on the agenda, which is BOE number 161, property located at 120 North Rockwell. Account number R148017-650. I understand that the assessor has suggested a valuation began at $9,293,000 and lowered it to $8,015,000. You've got a 40% vacancy rate going, and you would like to have us value it at $5,236,100.
Correct.
Okay. We'll hear from you.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm gonna give you some, information. It's all same information they've had on occupancy, but I think the map kind of is a better picture, just giving numbers.
What kind of a facility is this?
This is a Class B flex industrial building, 101,500 square feet. So the map I just gave you is the layout of the 6 buildings, and it's color coded. Green spaces are leased, the white spaces are vacant, and the red spaces are slow pay, no pays as far as tenants.
So, we think this, I think this paints a pretty good picture, a good picture of our building, what's going on. We built the building in 2022. We're kind of off to the races, at 20%. And then we got up a little bit. And then as of 12/31 of 2024, we were at 55%. The assessor had a value of $7,054,891. And then 2025 comes along. We're up to 73 something, so I rounded to 74%. We think things are kind of going toward the finish line. And then this next year, we're at 59% as of 12/31 or 1/1.
Your 2025 value was
7. Yeah, I'll give you this too. I think this kind of, you can refer to this. It's got the values by year.
Look at the website.
The assessor's office says the 25 value was $7,926,170.62. Yeah, it matches what he has.
Yeah. So looking at this, I think we're here for two reasons. We have a vacancy issue that's ongoing. I know you looking at what the year, end of the year, we're actually lower today than we were at that. So I think that's a next year issue. We have tenants that aren't renewing that we thought were going to renew. So we're closer to 50% today.
Okay.
And maybe 40 something in August. Okay. So we're not able to put permanent debt on this asset because it's not obviously stabilized and it's failure stabilized. I think when we talk to leasing people and stuff, we think there's just too much supply and not enough demand in this submarket. This building is in an opportunity zone. And I don't know if that created, had a lot of people go into that market because of the opportunity zone. Or if it's just that area, there's a lot of building. We have not been able to attract, tenants that pay as much as we do in our normal portfolio. It's like we take 2 steps backwards. I mean, we get 1 tenant and then we lose 2. So I think somewhere along.
Is it your location? Because you're far west, but that's kind of what goes on in that area.
Yeah, I mean, the assessor gave us a report. I'm sure he'll show it to you, but it showed that our peers were 63% vacant.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many buildings did 8 or 10 buildings, but it were 63. But
So what amount are you actually asking? Because I've showed, the paperwork showed 5.2 million, but this says 6.1 million, and in the income analysis said 5.8 million.
So I looked at it three different ways. I think so. The first issue is occupancy. The second issue is I don't think the assessor that we dealt with, David, I don't think he understood that these are modified gross leases. They're not triple net. He kept talking to triple net. When you look at his information, at one time he's got income, another time he doesn't. He's got rent. He's got the wrong rent. These are modified gross leases, so we pay everything. The assessor was given 3 years of income statements, 3 years of rent rolls, so it's black and white. We pay all the expenses except for water and anything over the base year of tax and insurance. So if the taxes are $100,000, they go to 105. The 5,000 gets split amongst those tenants. So we're really not getting much in tax and insurance back. So the 3 numbers, to answer your question, I look at it and took the last year's income and expenses and came and capped that at a cap rate of a loaded cap rate of 9.53. I came up with $5,236,100. That's what I put on the appeal. The reason I put that there is because I don't think a willing buyer or willing seller would look at this thing and go, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pay you for your potential lease up. I think they might have done something like that in 24 or 25, but when the property is still 59%, they can't get permanent debt. There's no way a buyer's gonna take the risk on the lease up. So that's how I came up with the $5,000,002. The second number of 6,126,900 is taking the numbers, grossing those up. 964 is the rent, using what additional income we had last year. And in using a 10% vacancy and collection loss, I think the assessor was using 7 or 7.5. I'm okay with vacancy at 7.5, but you have to have a collection loss at 2.5%. So I took out 10%. Then I did the actual expenses, and then I came up with a net operating income of 672. Used a loaded cap rate, 8.25 for flex industrial B assets in Oklahoma City, plus the tax rate. Came up with a value of $7,054,911. That's a stabilized value, and it's kind of ironic that that's where it was in 2024. So I'm thinking
7.9.
I'm thinking that somewhere along the way, the assessor went on the triple net bandwagon and doesn't realize. So then the assessor offered 928. How he came up with his value to get it down to the 8 million is he did a lease up cost of 928. So I'm taking the value, stabilized value of 7,054,911 less the lease up cost, indicated value of 6,126,000 rounded to 6,126,900. So that
You really want us to look at the 5,236,000.
yeah, because I think any buyer would look at it and go, what's your occupancy? How's it been doing? It's taken you this long to get to this place, and you're still there. And then we also have the benefit of the 6 months. Now, it being actually lower, we're probably going to be in the 40s, the high 40s.
Okay, let's hear from the assessor. Looks like he's refiguring something.
Yes, ma'am. I'll do something like that. When we talk about market and such, he's running a modified gross lease because there is some reimbursements that are included in that. However, in the city of Oklahoma City, over 75% of all industrial leases are triple net. That is why we figured it up at market. In certain pockets, there may not be, but in certain pockets, that may not continue. So we have to look at what the market says is triple net. Also, too, what we do is, as a regular buyer, is we're going to take their actual rent roll and look at what was happening as of the end of the year. As of the end of the year, the rent roll that he had in there, he was going to make, by the rent roll, $542,736. That comes out to $9.03 a foot. How you do it in the marketplace, you take that $9.03. I'm using 9. I round it down to 3 cents, which if you go to Walmart, they'll always ask you to round up. But anyway, I round it down to 9. Okay, and you would apply it to the full rent, or to the full building of 101,500.
Regardless of the vacancies.
Regardless of the vacancy, because what happens is then general market expenses are around 21.5%. I'm going to use 23% because of a little extra vacancy. Use a 9.3 cap because around in this area, it's around an 8 cap in general. We did do lease up costs because, again, now what they do is when buyers will look at a building, they're going to look, what can this make me on the market, and then I'll make the adjustments for where we're at. We put on we put on a lease up cost. Now, the initial comes out to a little over 7.5 million. The lease up comes up to 535,000. So what we're looking at is when we make that adjustment, this is my one that I was doing before I came here. That would be 7.9 million. So let's round it down to 7 million. I'm still doing a little work up here, making a few other adjustments from what I've heard on this.
Have you told me why you dropped from 9 million to 8?
Because as we have heard in the other one, commercial workups upstairs, we're in a process of learning.
Oh.
So what we have is we have ranges, and they do the ranges and they come down. If it's agreeable to the property owners, we're done. If it's not agreeable, then that's when I come in and I look at, okay, what's really going on in the market. And in some cases, in this case, there should be a further reduction in the value that was done on the informal.
Just the 100,000, because you're down to 7 months. It's
7 million on this. I'm still working
Another
on.
number, he's still doing
I'm
that.
still working on one more, and I will come up with a final number here. I'm at 6,725,000. That's 6,725,000 taken in for the lease divided by the 101,500. What did I do that? I did that wrong. 6,725. That's 66.25 a square foot. We have had some sales in the neighborhood. There were only 3 sales in the neighborhood, and those sales came out to within 5 miles of the property. The median value was at 97 a square foot. One was 100% leased. One was looks like 45% leased.
Were those more recent sales than the ones that were provided in the package?
Those are 21 2024 and 2 2025s is what I was looking up on CoStar. So currently we're on an offer of 6,725,000, which is 66.25 a square foot for the subject property, taking in consider Lisa, taking in considering what the market does and how a individual look at the market and determine a value. I will also tell you that when we come in, the easiest way for us to do it is to do it on a 1-year lease. Market will do it on a 10-year DCF, but they all have different requirements. That's why we go to the 1 year, because we have more definite numbers instead of looking into the future.
How do you respond to the 6,725,000? Because that's one of your figures.
Let me just clarify first,
I'm sorry.
6,725,000, correct?
Right.
Yes, 000. I like all zeros at the end.
No, that, my number is 6,126,900 using the right math.
Yes.
So I'm off like
Just-
$600,000 in that.
Well, there's a big difference between
Yeah.
9 million too and 6 million.
Yeah, I don't think 9 million too. I think he used a triple net lease and didn't.
Okay, but let me do my language for me here.
Yes.
What the assessor does is like mass appraisals, and so what he looked at on the triple net, which you argue about, 75% of the leases in Oklahoma County are triple net. You just say tough. That's not what I did. So don't even talk to me about triple net.
No, I would say if you're going to use a triple net, then you have to take the expenses off, because we're paying the expenses. So if he's going to use a triple net lease, he can't use a full. He needs to take off the expenses.
Did you use triple net in your last calculation? to
No,
get
I did
down to
not.
the 7?
So the initial appraiser did. In this particular one, I used the rent, and then I used what was listed as reimbursement income, which was 31,640.
Okay.
By the rent roll. I did vacancy collection, minor secondary income of 0.1%, which was $900. So total reimbursement was approximately 32,500. We did not use the triple net, which generally on these triple net will be 25% of the rental rate.
Okay.
So my-
hang on what?
Yeah. So my question is, our expenses of 236,821 net of property taxes. Are you taking that up?
I took the property
I
taxes out.
always take that.
So why do we have a $600,000? Is it in cap rate? Is it in the income? Why do we have a $600,000 difference?
It's 66.25. What is your? It's a square foot.
We use 23% expense ratio without tax rate.
And what'd you use?
26 without tax rate. Yeah, so we're close, but I don't know how it comes to $700,000 difference. He's at 6.7, we're at 6.1, and at 6.1, that's to me still high. I mean, for a building that's 60% occupied.
This is.
What were your lease up costs again?
535,000 rounded.
And you're at 928,
Yeah, they gave us 928 in their packet, that's why we used it.
but he didn't do the,
That was on triple net.
triple, yeah,
That
he
was
didn't do the modified or, he didn't do the triple net, he didn't do either one, he did rent roll. He did a completely different calculation.
Yeah, I've seen 4 different calculations so far for the same office. I mean, it's, to me, we ought to just do the numbers. I've got, in his packet, he's got 928,020.
Now, you
First,
just
Lisa.
sat here and gave you every break you asked for. You backed off the triple net, and now you want to slam the office because you got different things.
No, I still think he's not using the same, I mean, I'll be glad to go through with the numbers. Let's do the rent, let's do the expenses, let's do the cap rate and figure it out. But I think there's right, because right now there's 928 in lease up costs from his packet,
Mhm.
right here. I mean, and then he just did 500-something thousand. So I
Do
don't
you
know what,
disagree with the 500 and something thousand?
I think 900 is a better number that he first did.
But that was based off of a different valuation, a method evaluation.
No, I don't think it is in the method evaluation. I think it's just, he just changed it.
So
This
you
is,
didn't, did you really mean to say that?
well, I have this worksheet right here in this packet. It's
That
right
was
here.
the one that was done on the informal, yes, ma'am.
It's
Is
right here in
that-
the packet.
Is that triple net?
It doesn't matter. These are lease up costs. There's nothing in here about triple net. It doesn't matter on lease up costs. Lease up costs are just the costs that we have to incur to lease up the building. It doesn't matter if it's triple net.
I can
modified
explain,
gross.
I can explain.
Well, yeah, I want to hear.
First of all, he used $8.44 rents. The rent roll shows it should be $9.03. So right there,
The assessor.
that value would be more. He went ahead and used reimbursements per square foot of $1.94. I used 31 cents. So there's a difference there. He was giving him more reimbursements based on triple net. I changed it to 31 cents. We have tenant improvement costs. He used 15. I just had a talk to some gentleman. We used $5. This is an industrial warehouse. The improvement cost only goes to your office area, even if that happens on an industrial flex. We put 6% leasing commission, which is about average. And then your annual discount rate was bumped up to 8.25 because on a lease to individual properties, it's at 8.25. It doesn't go by treasury rates or anything like that. We used a 60% occupancy on ours, and he used 59%. He's at like 59 and a half. So I rounded it up a little bit on that. On that too, here's where I did a difference. Actually, I used 92% for occupancy, which the market in this part of the city is 8% for vacancy. They use 93, so I even dropped it a little bit from there. So there's where the differences are on an industrial strip center. The biggest one is tenant improvement costs, which I'll add in there. I used 5. There's not that much.
You used 8, I thought you.
No, when he says they, he's talking about the guy that did the
That did.
original.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and I
I
do
have
apologize
nothing- I
for
have
my
nothing to do with
terminology.
this.
Okay.
So yes, of course, some of the things that were done were higher than what should be, which will of course make the 900 look more agreeable in certain cases. I'm using what market's going to show a willing buyer's going to do when he would say, let's buy this. And the other thing we have to look at is what year was it made? It was built in 2021. So there's a little bit of a plus on that for anything in the neighborhood that would be built anywhere older than that.
It was built in 21?
Not yet, 2021.
In an opportunity zone, are there any tax breaks?
There are, if we hold it for a significant amount of time, if we have a capital gain, you do not have to pay a capital gain.
What, do you know what that time period is?
I think it's 10 years,
Thank you.
but don't hold me to that. I'm
A
not.
year and 5. You got 5.
Yeah, so I guess my point is, I looked at the numbers, I looked at their packet, and then I'm getting a whole bunch of new stuff that I wasn't able to review or,
Okay, you're gonna hold it to 6,000,001.
well, I like the lower value. I mean, if you can consider the fact that it's vacant. the one that I put on.
The 5-2.
Yes.
Okay.
So I don't know how you guys look at vacant buildings. I know how I look at them as a buyer. I know how I look at them as a seller. There is a significant discount when you can't get something leased up in 3 years. So I think it was built in 2021. I think we got C of Os in 2022. We went ahead and went along down the road, but we're coming to you saying, hey, we don't know if this thing's gonna be 50% at the year end or 70%.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna meet Thursday and decide. Probably Monday before you get a letter from us.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna close the hearing on BOE 161. And we're gonna open the hearing on BOE 164. Okay, BOE 164 has a physical address of 15201. Is this Layton's Court? Account number R2153711010. Are you guys gonna do all the rest of the ones that are on our?
We have a phone call on 4 and 5.
Oh, okay,
We just have the one.
okay.
Were you guys here last year? I
Yeah,
was, yeah.
Okay.
Natalie's,
Same
Yeah.
Natalie's was taking the bar last year, so
Oh,
she's
okay.
now here in office.
Congratulations.
She survived.
okay, so my records indicate that assessor sent you out a valuation of $3,989,959.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're at 1,856,000.
So I'm actually a little bit higher than that. I wanted to get, and I want to give them an opportunity to look at this real quick.
Okay,
I didn't change anything substantive, but I just added some color. I need to give this to you guys. So we're up a little bit after adjustment on income. I'm gonna give a copy to you so you have it. And then you guys already have all these graphs and maps and stuff. I just added a snapshot of the vacancy from last year. You all have that. And then I added just 2 maps of the area.
So what number are you at now?
I'm at 2,030,213.
thank you. Okay. Glad you're staying.
Okay, so this is a mini storage facility. I was here last year talking to you
Right.
guys about. I'll just give you kind of a brief overview. There's 2 maps at the back. I think we kind of talked about this last year, just the oversaturation in the area. So the second to last page has, kind of a bigger snapshot. It kind of shows you all of the mini storage
Oh,
facilities.
wow. That's all these
Quite a
red
bit.
circles?
Yeah, all the red.
Okay.
We're at the blue.
Okay,
And then the last page just shows kind of a 2-mile radius, 2.5 mile radius. So you can see again at the blue where Switzer's locker room, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 kind of in the 2-mile area. There's 4 others just in a 1 mile radius
okay.
of us. And so I think that's creating an issue. So this property was built in 2018. And then added on, nearly doubled the amount of storage space in 2022. Can't remember, I believe construction was completed up before the end of 2022. But since that time, the vacancy has kind of leveled off. So we've only occupied like 30 more units of the ones that were added on in the 3 years since it was built, or really 2 years of, 3 years of actual use.
So what's your vacancy rate?
So on right after the profit and loss, so you've got income, profit and loss, and then you've got a few pages kind of showing vacancy statistics. So it's at, right now it's as of 1/1, it's 60% occupied, 37% vacant. The numbers are a little off there, but last year, that was one of the pages I just slipped at the end before the maps. We were at 57% occupied, 40+% vacant. So we're about 4% better, but it's kind of leveled off. Some of the graphs you can see the occupancy vacancy mix has stayed level. So with that, kind of obviously produced some issues with our income approach. We had, a little bit higher income this year than last year, but also because of that, about 15,000 more in expenses. So we show the income at, and this is based on the rent roll, the profit and loss is included right after the income statement. We have 384,671 for income. No other recoveries there. And then as far as expenses go, that was the only change that I made from the packet you guys had that was showing the 1.8 that we had asserted. I just took out a couple, like the market or the royalty that goes to Barry Switzer because it's Switzer's locker room. That wouldn't happen obviously if it's sold, so I took that out. So our expenses went down just a little bit, and with that, our value went slightly up. We're using a 7.5 cap, loaded 8.82%. I would say that's taking into the risk that this property has because of the high vacancy. We're seeing average cap rates for these types of mini storage facilities between 6.5% and 8%. So we're kind of right in that middle of that range. I think that about covers it. It's just that this property is struggling as far as income goes. And, obviously we're about $2 million apart on value right now, so.
Okay, we'll hear from the assessor.
Thank you very much. They did have an informal with that and on this, and the informal was a no change. The individual that did the informal is not the same person that you're talking to here. It's different. I, as being the chief commercial assessor, anything that comes after the informal, I get to look at. Okay. On this, again, we're talking a little bit about this. We went ahead and looked at the complete rent roll. And the complete rent roll does show it's 60% occupied, 40% vacant. So that's what we're looking at as of the end of the year. We also took the PGI off of the rent roll, which would be 824,244 total based on what we have here. In regards to the income approach, I appreciate that you took out the Barry Switzer name because generally you don't have business value. I wrestled with that for about 10 minutes. If I would have been in Wichita Falls, Texas, or if I would have been in any place else out of Oklahoma, I'd go, yeah, no. We're in Oklahoma City. It's Barry Switzer. I left it in. It's 10%. It's not that much. It's of the total amount. So when I did my income approach, I left it in.
Okay.
We did use the total PGI of 824,112. For this particular area, because yes, Oklahoma City is a little overbuilt on storage facilities. Vacancy runs anywhere from 80 to 85%, or occupancy, 80 to 85%. So I did my income based on 80% occupancy, which is on the very low end or high end, however you want to look at it. Secondary income, there's always going to be some secondary incomes because they're going to sell a lock here or some boxes. Secondary income was at 0.5%, $3,300. When you talk about self-storage facility, average expense ratios run about 35% for an operating. And that's according to Patriot Holdings, Tract IQ, self-storage incentives, and property rights and a dust. This is actually publications that you can get on the internet. I used a 45% due to the occupancy that they've had over the last 2 years. In regards to cap rates, this is a Class B considered facility, not because of what they're at, but because of what age it is. And a Class B facility, those cap rates run in the neighborhood of, say, 6 to 6.25. I bumped it up.
8 years is old.
At 2018, it's still on a new side. When you're looking at, you have Class A, Class B, Class C type properties. Your Class Cs are going to be 80s and 70s.
Oh, okay.
Your Class Bs will generally be in the 2000 to 2010 to 15, and your As will be even better.
Okay.
Because of his occupancy issue, I considered it a Class B facility. Used a 7.25 cap rate, tax rate 3.2. I used 8.07 on that. I did do a lease up on this from 60% to 80%. That's 167,700. That income value would come up to 4,348,100, which, if I remember correctly, is higher than the current value of 3,938,949. I also looked at, there had been 3 mini storages that have sold within our subject here, which was, well, actually one in Oklahoma City at 72%. It sold for $74 a foot or $46,900 a unit. The requested value of the 2,030,000 comes out to $3,345 a unit or $21.30 a square foot. The value that that mine come out to be is $45.61 a square foot or $7,100 a unit, and that's higher than what the value is now.
The 72% occupancy, that was just one of the sales, right?
That was one of the sales. When you're talking about mini storages, the other sales that I didn't use, one was in Elgin, one was in Collinsville, so I kind of left those out as I was looking over this. When I used to do these in Texas, when you first started, the area was five miles. Is when you were going to put in a storage facility, you were going to look at a 5-mile radius. Well, everybody got on the bandwagon. It went down to 3 miles. Now it's 2 miles. Where they look at the radius before what starts impacting your income. We already showed that we had a map that shows there's several that are close. I agree. Even publications show that Oklahoma City is overvalued. So what I've done is on my income, I raised the expense ratio. I put these in a B class and I used the B class cap rate. I did allow the Switzer just because we live in Oklahoma City. And I did a lease up. And I put it at the low end because occupancies run, I can read anywhere from 80 to 85. I used 80% occupancy, so I even gave them a little less on that. And the last thing I would like to say is if we look at...
You did 80%, but she said she's actually only at 60.
Correct, I did a lease up after that.
That's
I did that lease up, but the market shows 80 to 85%, I used 80.
Okay.
Also, too, one of the things you look at, you have a 2-year income, and they're pretty level. I mean, you could probably argue that as it is now, this could be stabilized. That could be an argument. But I'm not using that because look, it hasn't changed in 2 years. The overall market for Oklahoma City says this is the way we should look at it. Average occupancy, average expense ratio, average cap rates, and a lease up. And that's where my lease up actually still comes in more.
Any idea why it's lower than what it was? They bought it in March of 24 for 4.81516 million. And in 2025, we valued it $4,056,000. And I know that they came to debt to us. I don't recall if we lowered it or I don't recall what we decided on it, but now you're actually lower than what we decided last year.
Yes. Well, the thing is that there's a lot of dynamics when you talk about the market. One of the things about storage facilities that a lot of people don't realize, as with apartment complexes, they subscribe to a thing called Yardi, and they actually get data either weekly or daily that shows what market rents are for that area. That's why sometimes when you go in, well, today the rent's $108 for a 10 by 10. You might go in 2 days later, it's $104 because there's a service that will monitor locally what rents are for mini storages. That's why we come down. Also, too, at the end of the year, we look at the rent roll, and if the rent roll shows numbers come down or income comes down, because you might go up a little bit in occupancy, but let's just say the market shows that your rent per unit comes down. Well, all that there's a lot of things that we look at. So our 3.9 this year was based on initial data, which we didn't have the data that was provided from the informal, like the rent roll. We're kind of going off of what we think about, what the market shows, and then when we get regular data, we look at it and go, okay, we make the adjustment or we don't. In this particular case, I don't ask for raises because we put it out at 3.9. That's the data we had. My income is showing that it should be maybe a little higher, but we're happy. We're agreeable on the 3.9 that was noticed, and no change on that.
We didn't get a copy of that income workup that you have. Do you have an extra copy?
Yes, I do. And I do that because, again, they've asked for it, and if they could say no.
You keeping up?
Trying.
A lot of figures going back and forth. All right, so he's showing a 20% vacancy. We've talked about that. We're sitting at quite a bit higher. And normally we wouldn't suggest such a high vacancy or using actuals if it weren't the history that we had for this property. We wouldn't have the data that we have. So obviously we're seeing quite a bit higher vacancy, and so to gross it up, but then not allow. I think. Where is your lease up?
Turn the page. Turn the page again.
Sorry. Okay.
Is it?
What am I looking at here? Sorry.
May I have that?
Yeah.
Okay, did I only give you the 2 pages? Oh, here we go. There's Lisa.
But where? Okay, so it's down here.
Yes. Lisa, I will let the board know. Lisa comes after you capitalize the value, and that's where ours is at. And you also have to take into consideration time value of money. That $1 today is worth more than $1 tomorrow. Taxes, inflation.
No.
Okay, so I'd say that the lease up costs there look to be a little bit low considering you're leasing up to a full 40% amount.
No, he leased up to 80%.
From 60 to 80.
So sorry, excuse me, from the
That's
20 from the 80% to the 100%. The expenses here are, I think you said you did 45%.
Correct.
Right now, right here. We're sitting at like
7.43. The new one, sorry, 53.43.
53, yeah, 53% higher. Just the problem is like it's hard to look at this pro forma and the gross up when you have the data that we have. So I think his expense ratio is low. I think his lease up costs are low. The cap he's used, knowing the history of this property and the issues that we have with the oversaturation, he's got a 6.75% unloaded. Like I said, we've seen a range of 6.5% to 8% for mini storage.
I thought he had a 7.725. You've got 8.82, right?
He's got a base cap of 6.75.
I see.
Yeah. And then a loaded of 8.07.
Okay.
So I think that that's probably our most significant difference is that we've put a 7.5 cap within the range because of the risk of this property. I think we'd have to go higher in order to really account for that and the potential trying to find a buyer that will buy something when it has 4 neighbors right around.
How you guys doing with management? What did you? What's your differential?
My management is 5.75.
What's yours?
Their management is only at 8,000, two something, that's 3%. When you, if I may, on mini storages, this is the only one that you have this. You have both an on-site and an off-site management.
Right.
Okay, you have people who live there, and then you have someone that goes on to that. So there's on self-storages, management fee is a little higher than what you'll hear across any other commodity that we talk about, retail and industrial.
Does this have on-site? Because many of them are going to no one on-site.
This, I don't, I can't speak with certainty on that.
It has payroll expenses of $67,000, so I'm assuming.
Some small amount on, yeah.
And I would just like to see, I just have a question that they've seen 7 to 8.5 caps. I don't know where that came from.
There's, I didn't include it, I should have included it in the packet. There's a, I'm not remembering the name of it right now. I think it's on my computer. There's a few market analysis that were for this year, or the full year of 2025, that I pulled from many storages, and then also from other client data, really.
Okay. And are they the same age?
Yes, similar markets. We've got one actually, same client in Cleveland County, and then we have a couple in Tulsa.
So the issues that I'm seeing are cap rate, expenses, and vacancy that we're going to have to sort of internalize at some point.
Yes, I would say that. If we just changed the cap on there, let's see.
I'm just going to go ahead and mention they have truck expenses of 36,000. They do have a truck.
We do have.
There's no BPP that's been rendered.
I'm not familiar with that. I would have to.
Personal property.
Two different kinds. Some of those are online and some of those are the kind.
Yeah, I think it's still high. Just using our cap with theirs, I think we've still got an issue with expenses and with the lease-up costs if you're going to use the pro forma and the vacancy. So
We just believe we took into account the vacancy because average expense ratios are around 35%. We gave 10% extra to the vacancy. So we kind of figured that we may have made an adjustment for occupancy issues and also the lease up. So that's all I have.
Through other factors, not
Right, not direct, but through other factors that a buyer would look at.
Okay, you got the last word.
All right, well, yeah, I think we've spoken about it, but I think that there are issues. First, this pro forma item passed. I can't really look at it as closely as I would like to, just here on the fly. But like I said, I think that there are issues using it just because of what data we actually have for the property, what it's showing, what the issues are within the vicinity, the fact that we can't keep up with the market. So I think using our income analysis that actually relies upon actuals, takes into account the vacancy that is actually occurring, takes into account the expenses that we're actually incurring, which, like I said, went up slightly because we did have a slight improvement in the vacancy this year. Just taking that into account, I think makes more sense for this particular property. I would have to analyze this pro forma a little bit more closely to see exactly where we're differing. But I think just looking here, based on my quick review, it's really a vacancy, Lisa, the expenses being high, and then the cap rate being higher than what we're seeing in the market.
One of the notes I had were, as far as an expense, was bank service charges, $11,000.
That was removed, yeah,
Okay.
in this as well.
Okay. You add anything?
I don't have anything
Don't
to
be
add.
scared, she can say that. You wanna add anything? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, well, we're gonna meet on Thursday, make a decision and inform you by mail.
Okay,
Thanks a lot. Oh, sure. Okay, I'm gonna close BOE number 164, and we're gonna do BOE 176 and 177 by phone.
Madam Chair, if I may, I believe that 176 may have been withdrawn.
The Coca-Cola, both of them are Coca-Colas, just different locations.
I do have a memo upstairs that was from an attorney, which I believe is representing both of these, but one of these, it says it was withdrawn.
Okay.
I did not bring that memo with me.
Okay. Okay.
Floyd, might be the attorney's group. And I apologize for interrupting, I just wanted to mention that before we got on the phone.
Okay. Well, we'll see which person is there.
Oh, we're gonna go ahead and call this.
Yeah. They'll tell us which one.
But do you have the documentation to be able to defend it if you thought it was to withdraw?
Up in my office I do, but I forgot to bring it. Would you like me to go get it? Because it is sitting right on the edge of my desk.
Well,
Defer it to.
we can do the next. We'll do the next one if it's not. You
It's all
think?
the same.
It's the same person. He can tell you, but I just wanted
Okay.
to say that that's what I was thinking, because I'm not prepared for this one. I can talk about it.
Okay. Can you text somebody and tell them to bring it down?
The number you have dialed is not. Please hold while I try to connect you.
Is that Chris? Is that the name?
Say that last name.
AI is taking
Last name.
Morning, Chris.
Hello, Chris. This is Ms. Thompson calling from the Board of Equalization. How are you doing?
Okay. I'm fine. Which county?
Oklahoma County.
Oh, okay. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I have 2 items on my agenda that I thought you were going to represent, and I'm being informed that maybe one of them was withdrawn. We have BOE number 176, which is Great Plains Coca-Cola Bottling, account number R132305375. Is that one still before us?
Okay. I apologize. I haven't received any notification about any kind of hearing, and my understanding was that it just was presented to you guys, and you guys made a determination.
Oh. Well,
I apologize. I haven't received any paperwork aside from submitting the.
Oh, okay. Well, we can decide based upon what you sent us. So that would be for
Okay.
both of them, for BOE 176 and BOE 177, correct? R148936005.
Let me pull up what was filed. I believe it's both of them. I hadn't submitted any withdrawals of anything. But let me see here. Bear with me. I have to get into the right folders and pull this up.
First of all, though, I had highlighted the, account number that it perhaps was wrong. But
For which one?
5375, because when I tried to look it up, I couldn't find it on the assessor's website. So I think it's actually,
Sometimes their things don't come up. Address really sometimes.
yeah, I
don't
had
come
was
up.
actually 148938000, which is
For
what
which
they
one?
provided as well.
93800 for 177, 176.
Yeah, so
176.
what's on the agenda is incorrect. So the 5375 is incorrect account number.
Okay, we go off of the.
So it should be, is it the 8? Yeah, it should be this.
So this is, we're looking at it up here, and it's 5375.
Yeah, that's.
All right, let's see. Sorry, I was able to pull this up finally. I've got, I think, the one that you were discussing, 148938000, and then 148936005. That's what I have on my information.
So the 8000 is the one that we show as 5375 on the
Okay.
agenda. That's incorrect.
Okay, so you just submitted it and we'll make our decision. The way we work is if you want a hearing, you can get a hearing. We will consider anything that you would say that you've already discussed with the assessor. And then we meet on Thursday and decide all the cases that we've heard all week long. So what's gonna happen now is you're gonna get a letter from us. Because Friday is a holiday, it'll probably not be until Monday that you will get a letter
Okay.
from us on our decision.
Okay.
Okay. So, but let me tell you,
I had submitted.
in the future, if this is how this should work for you. You're gonna get a valuation, and I understand you are not the owner, you are the representative, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so in the future, here's how this goes. You're gonna hear it, you're gonna get it, your client's gonna scream, you're gonna call and talk to the assessor, which is the informal. And then they'll either say, okay, we'll cry uncle, or you'll say, no, go off. So then you can get a hearing in front of us. And then you can tell us why you think your valuations, what you're requesting is better than what the assessor is requesting. And then we make our decision and inform you by mail. We don't make our decisions the same day we have our hearings. And if you have your paperwork in front of you, I would just say that on the first one, on BOE number 176,
So it's actually different values than.
the valuation I have for the assessor is $6,842,000, and you've got $2,005,117. Is that what you just pointed to?
That's
Yes.
correct. Based on a replacement cost new less depreciation. Yeah.
Okay, and then on BOE number 177, which I'm taking these both at the same time, the assessor has a valuation of $10,379,534, which during the informal they lowered to $8,276,900. You would like to have us value it at $2,650,844, which is extremely close to what you have the other one valued at.
Yeah, they're similar size properties, and it's just and I believe they're similar. Let me see. I'm trying to look at the age here real quick. 79. Okay, yeah, they're similar ages. The square footage appears to be pretty different, but yes, they're similar. They're old buildings, and hence the depreciation is being applied accordingly, and so that's why, yes, they are lower values, but they are it's replacement cost new less depreciation, standard market Wentworth valuation methodology. So that's where we came up with that opinion. Well, this facility is completely, now I will say this, completely aside from what pertains right now, because it's, as of January 1. This, I believe this facility is doesn't have much of a future life, just because of the obsolescence on it. So there might be a facility change here, because there was another distribution warehouse also there, that's owned by the same taxpayer that was demolished last year and is being rebuilt and will replace this, I think, pretty much next year. So because it's not worth repairing and bringing up to date. So, but I know that's a future thing.
So,
But it's a
Go ahead. I know.
yeah.
so the assessor, so you understand his theory? Did you do the informal?
Yes. Yes,
No.
we discussed it. I provided the information. I understand, and I also understand, and I appreciate the effort that he went to review the value. This
Well, hang on,
some
we're
of this
just-
is
we're trying-
formality.
We're trying to figure out if you spoke with the same assessor that we had in the office today.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Member from the office. No, it was somebody different. It was somebody
Oh.
different that you spoke with from who we have in the room today, so
Oh, okay.
give us just a minute to kind of clear up a little bit of confusion here.
Sure.
Did you find a letter, Tom? No? Okay.
We're gonna,
That may be the reason for the confusion, because he was probably looking at the other account number.
This one, it's 4768212.
That makes sense.
The assessor is reviewing some information, and he may be able to modify his valuation, and we'll see what you think of it, okay? Just hold on a second.
Okay.
And this, we're talking about, Tom, we're talking about 176?
yes,
Okay. We're talking about the one on, on Northwest Third. Where are you, by the way? Where are you?
I'm in Houston.
Oh, you're way down, okay.
Yep.
I noticed this still says Great Plains. I thought they were bought out by a company out of Mexico at one point.
Yes, but we call them Big Coker,
Right.
Coca-Cola Company. Split up their division, split up their regions a number of years ago. I think back in 2017, and different entities purchased different regions,
Right.
and so the largest of which I believe by volume is Coca-Cola Southwest Beverage, and they were purchased by Arca Continental, who is the second largest distributor of Coca-Cola in Mexico, and so Coca-Cola Southwest Beverage acquired Great Plains Coca-Cola, which is up there in the Oklahoma region. So the name Great Plains Coca-Cola is completely fine, but yes, it's the overriding is Coca-Cola Southwest Beverage.
So is this-
The parent of that would be Arca Continental.
Is this the Coca-Cola building behind the Chesapeake Center, or is this just one of their distribution?
This is warehouse and distribution.
Okay.
The reason I'm just asking is I used to, I was with a school district and we had an exclusive rights agreement with Coke, and it changed from Great Plains to Architecta and then kind of back and forth.
Yep.
So just want to make sure we're the same thing.
Yeah, overall, yes.
Okay, thank you. Just give us a few more minutes. They're still doing some calculating.
thank you. We did look at over what was provided at the informal at sales at $93 a square foot. This building was built in 1975. It is masonry construction, or a Class C on that. Class D, as you know, are sticks and bricks like house builds. And Class B are like the building we're in now. This is a Class C construction. Looking at that, the initial value that was at $6,482,842 was $53.28 a square foot, which is lower than the sales. But we do know that this is in conjunction with another building that's next to it that we're going to hear in the next hearing. We're looking at on this based on a cost information that we have. We're looking at a value of $5,824,700, which comes out to approximately $48 a square foot. I will get you a more exact number here in just a minute.
What's your square footage you're using?
121,654.
You agree with that square footage, sir? Chris?
Let me go, let me scroll to the right place. You said 121,000?
Yes, 654.
Yes, I agree.
Still pretty far apart.
We understand that our valuation is aggressive. It is based on the Marshall and Swift. Yeah.
Can you admit to a higher figure?
Bear with me 1 second. Let me see what I can pull up. Let me go on what's the current market? I'm sorry, taxable value.
Now, you know we don't concern ourselves with the taxes, but what is the taxable value, just by the way?
Right.
We will check that into the taxable value right now.
All right.
And then I
We're
have
looking it up.
comments.
All right, taxable value.
$3,712,779.
Did you hear that? Chris, did you hear that?
3,712,799.
Yes.
Is that what you?
Yes.
Agreeing with the value won't change as long as it's above the market value does not change the market value. Is that correct?
The taxable value. I mean, we don't concern ourselves with that. We're willing buyer, willing seller, fair market value. I know people concern themselves.
No, the assessor can answer your question. You want to ask that question again of the assessor's office?
He's saying it's not going to change their taxes. That's correct.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that if I agree to a different market value, it wasn't going to reset the taxable to whatever it was agreed to. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I would agree to another number. What was the number that you came up with?
5,824,700.
Yes, I would agree with that.
All right. I'm going to entertain a motion to set the fair market value of BOE number 176 at 5,824,700.
By mutual agreement.
By mutual agreement of the parties.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. All right. Now let's move to BOE number 177. That number is account number 148936005. The assessor dropped $2 million from $10,000,003 to $8,276,900, and you're at $2,650,844. And he used the same comps on both the assessor did on both accounts. Okay, now did you use the same analysis, Chris, on your to set your $2,006,000 on this one?
Yes, ma'am, we did.
First sheet on this one is 147, 144.
147, 144. Yes, square footage. The assessor's calculating, Chris.
No problem. Thank you.
Do we need to go back and just clarify the account number on 176? I don't know if we ever stated it out loud what the correct one was.
Yeah, he did. Okay.
He did, that's true.
Chris did.
Yeah, you're right, he did.
this particular property is a little different than the other one. The other one is more definitely a warehouse.
Okay,
This one has 3 actual sections to this building.
okay,
And on that, we did a cost approach on this. We have we have 2 that are storage warehouse, and in between where they do the manufacturing, we have it as an industrial manufacturing building on that. So it kind of throws a little wrench into the works. We did do a cost. As you can see up here, there was a cost approach that was done on this one too. If you want to look at where it says sprinkler adjustment, which is in the middle, can you make that a little bit bigger? And I'm just going to walk up here. You have sprinkler adjustments right here, which is 0. There should be, according to Marshall and Swift, there is a sprinkler adjustment in there that should be done. These also have dock high foundations that in Marshall and Swift, dock high foundations will be a price per square foot that goes added to the base building. In this particular case, dock high foundations is an additional $4.18 per square foot. And as you know, dock high foundation is when you back up the truck, the dock is high with the book. So as you scroll through some of these here, there's a lot of those adjustments that have not been put in, which actually add money per square foot. There's another one, no dock high foundation, no sprinkler adjustment, no story height adjustment. Marshall and Swift also employs a story height adjustment, and especially with warehouses, the better you do have an adjustment for story height because that's what they look for. The low ones won't get as much as the taller ones. On these particular ones, story height are 25 foot. They command more for money than someone that has a 14-story height. So there's a lot of adjustments that was not put in this particular Marshall and Swift done workup. We went ahead and did a Marshall and Swift
done by the property owner.
by the property owner. Yes, by the ones that you see on the screen. We did a Marshall and Swift workup using these on that, and our Marshall and Swift on this one again. We have one section that's a little different than the rest, which is your heavy industrial manufacturing. Our Marshall and Swift current book on that came up to about $9 million. And currently it's valued at $8,276,900, I believe. The cost that was provided, I did not hear if it was changed from the initial.
It changed from cost or the value?
Well, the value that they were asking for on the informal was $18.02 a square foot for this particular property. What we're looking at on our cost at $9 million runs in the neighborhood, which of course it cut off when I printed this, at 144,144 square feet. That's 6116 a square foot based on our Marshall and Swift book.
That's a big difference.
That's a big difference. And it's an operating system on there. And as you can see, what's highlighted now is not the ones we're talking about. That's the one we're on now. The one we heard just before was basically a storage warehouse, distribution warehouse. This one's believed to be the production part of it. And there's, as you can see, 3 separate buildings in this, all on one parcel.
What did you say that cost per square feet came out to?
6116.
On ours.
I get 56.25.
Yeah, I get 56.
Maybe I counted up the numbers wrong here because let me get this out of my way here. I got so many pages here.
Based on 147,144 square feet.
No, 144. See, he said 144, 144. That's why he's got it this picture. It's 147, but you said 144.
I'm sorry. It's 147, 144. And at $9 million, you are probably.
I mean, it goes more towards your argument.
Yeah. So let's see, divided by 147, 144. You are 6116.
Okay.
At $9 million.
I still get 56.25.
Because we're working off the assessor's value of $8,276,900.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, you're doing
my
$9
cost
million.
approach is higher than what the agreed or the number on the informal of 876. The property owner representative is requesting $18.02 per square foot at $2,650,844 with some items that have been left off of the Marshall and Swift calculations that have been provided.
Chris, I want you to respond to the missing numbers. if you can.
Sure. So I apologize if there's anything that that we left off on the workup on this. Believe me when I say I understand different attributes bring in, are attributing to different valuation. So at the same time, it's an entire system question in terms of how much it brings to the entire to what's usable. I understand that wall heights are elevated wall heights are going to bring a higher value, generally speaking, in terms of utilizing something that has a higher wall height. It does somewhat turn into the question of how much, if it just looks good or if it's actually useful. Despite that, I do apologize for any pieces and parts that were omitted from this. I think when we originally did the workup on this, it was based on the information we had that maybe doesn't include some of the attributes that the gentleman was talking about. That if I don't see it on the property record card, or if I don't have the detail on it, I can't add it back into the model. So
you assumed that these properties were identical. And they're not. There's different usages at this one than the other one.
Can I ask a question?
And so, yeah.
I just want to ask a question to the assessor for the taxpayer. What was the taxable value last year on it?
On this
Just like he asked for on the other case.
5,010,446.
And I have something to add.
Okay.
Okay. There was a cost approach done on both sides. We've also, through all my paperwork here, because I got a little confused on the last one, we also looked at income on the subject property. Okay. I can go through the whole process of income and that, but I'm going to cut it short and say my income on that, I'm looking at, based on CoStar data and other sales or other leases in the particular area, I'm looking at $7.3 million total. And I apologize for that. It was lost under other paperwork in my.
Is that your new?
My new one is 7.3 million.
Oh, so
Is
you're
that
gonna
it?
say you'll accept that?
And that is based on income.
So Chrissy, they started at 10,000,003, dropped to 8,000,002, and now they're down to 7,000,003.
Yes, I can accept that.
Okay. I will ask for a motion to set the fair market value of BOE number 177 by agreement of the parties at $7,300,000.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. We appreciate that. Now you understand how we work if you get these next year. Just let me ask you, which one of these you think is gonna come down for the new build?
My understanding is this is going to be completely idled and vacant next year. That's my.
This one here that we just did. This one.
I think it's probably both of them, but that's not.
Okay.
I don't take that as rule or anything like that. That's
Okay.
My expectation based on what I'm seeing and what my understanding. So.
Okay. Well, thank you.
I think it'll still be in place, but I don't think. I think it's going to be in place.
Okay. We appreciate
So
you.
we'll see.
We appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Okay. Closing both of 176 and 177, and that ends our agenda. So before we go, so we're doing tomorrow and tomorrow I work for the election. So Wednesday.
Wednesday and Thursday.
And is that one person because they seem to all be nursing homes? Mostly. Or was that next week? Oh, that's
On the
next week.
17th.
That's next
No,
week.
it's tomorrow.
The nursing homes.
Wednesday.
Is that Wednesday? Okay. Okay.
Wednesday or Thursday, yeah.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.